Praise God. Information is very powerful. Information is very powerful. You can see two people that maybe live in the same area, supposedly come from almost the same kind of family, maybe two siblings, one father, one mother. But the kind of information they're exposed to will determine what their future will look like. Even if you see twins that are exposed to different kinds of information, they will most likely turn out different. That's the power of information. And which is what we are doing here today. Many people are succeeding, like I always say, not because they're actually smarter than you are, but because they're exposed to better information than you are. So, and what we are trying to do is to expose us to the right kind of information. Last week, we started, how many of us enjoyed last week's session? Amazing session, powerful session. How many of us bought the book that he brought last week? How many of us have finished reading the book? Amazing, thank God. Okay, I like that. You guys are aggressive. Because I finished the book, I think in 2 days. I think on Tuesday. Amazing book. So please, if you bought it, go and devour that book. Don't just read the book. Take notes from the book. Create an implementation plan. What are you going to do from what you learned from that book? How does it apply to you? So today we are moving into another dimension. We want to go into investment a bit. How many of us here, I know we are with in church, but many of us here know investors are leaders. He is an investor. But we don't used to see his investments. We don't used to see the fruit of his investments. None of us look like investors. How many is amen? We'll be investors for real. So we have someone in the house with a track record of quality, expertise, and maybe she might tell us a bit of her story, but she did not study finance university. She did not study, people study banking and finance major, all those things she did not. So after she finished, that she transitioned into finance, and she's doing absolutely well. So please, if your feet are working, can you be on your feet as we make welcome Mrs. Damilola Hassan.
Hallelujah. Thank you very much for having me this morning. I am not a stranger, even though it may look like I am one. But I assure you that I am not a stranger. How many of you agree that I'm not a stranger here? Okay, so I'll try to convince you as we go along that I'm not a stranger. Some of you are not convinced. Congratulations on the World Summit that has started. And I saw clips on social media on last week's session. I trust God that today you'll walk out of this room with something tangible, practicable, that you can reference months and years after now. A meeting is not powerful because powerful things were said. A meeting is powerful because it has left you better than you have come. So I plead with you this morning, make sure that you take away something from here as we go along. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for an opportunity to learn and share together. In your presence, there is fullness of joy. At your right hand, there are pleasures forevermore. We're grateful because this morning our minds are being illuminated yet again. Our capacity is being enlarged. We are receiving understanding. We are receiving your help to run and not be weary. In the name of Jesus. Okay, so I'm doing a bit of teaching because some of the things I'll be saying may be a bit technical or, you know, not very familiar things, things that you're not very familiar with. So that's why I decided to share slides. But, so I believe the slides are on. They will come on. Please let me know once the slides are on. That will change how I speak. So why I chose to bring slides, it's not to distract you because again, sometimes we are fixated on slides and then we are not listening and we're busy trying to. What I think you should do is to listen, and everything that you think is important that you should note, you write it. There are certain things that after now you will go back to go and understand more. I always tell people the first level of knowledge in this world today is Google. You know, so Google is your what? And so because Google is your friend, right? Yeah. So you'll be able to refer to Google. So I'm speaking today on making smart investment decisions. You know, we're speaking generally about how to make your first million. And you know that making your first million can happen in 1,000,001 ways. Do you agree? Do you agree that 1,000,000 naira is 10,000 naira in 100 places? Do you agree? And it is 1,000 naira in how many places? 1,000 places. So, making your first million is easy. Allow me to put it that way. What is probably not easy is doing the work to make it happen. So a bit of background. I studied microbiology from the University of Lagos. And I went further to study medical microbiology at my master's level. And I'm happy to tell you that I don't even remember what a microscope looks like. I don't remember what, and it's so embarrassing. I don't even remember anything at all on microbiology, except maybe a few things. But I took interest in finance, and I took a decision to start from scratch. So here I was, I had graduated, I was working. And then after 3 years of finishing my master's and working, I took that decision to pivot into finance. And what that meant was that every job opportunity coming to me was coming as entry level. Now, you like maths, right? Okay, let's pretend that we all like maths this morning. So we'll do some numbers. So I graduated 1999. Served. Then went for master's. Microbiology. Finished master's 2003. Right? And then I started working. By the way, my job had nothing to do with microbiology anyway. It was just something very different. And then 3 years after on that job, 2006, I took a decision to go into finance. And then at that time, I was being offered jobs at entry level. Help me do the maths. How many years after I had graduated is that? 7. Okay. So hold on to that information. So let's move on. A basic introduction, which I know you spoke about last week, is the fact that investing in yourself is the most important investment that you can ever make. Seeing yourself as a project that is worth investing time, money, good food, sleep well. You know, when you treasure something, you take care of it, right? If something means a lot to you, if you buy a new shoe, you're not likely to, when you see mud on the road as you're walking, there's something that tells you this shoe is new. You try to avoid stepping into mud, right? Because that shoe is precious. Do you think you are precious? How are you treating yourself? Do you think you are worth investing in? So investing in yourself is the most important thing you can do. The more you learn, the better your chances at life generally are. The more you learn, the more you earn. The more you learn, the higher your value. The higher your value, the higher your income. Because people will pay you based on your value, right? Nobody would pay you if they don't think that there's value to be derived from you. So just for me to understand my audience, how many of us here are students? We're in school. Okay. How many of us here are working? You have a job that you go to, or you have a business that you do, you are earning income. I'm not collecting your money now. Show me your hand. Okay, great. How many of us are on both levels? Student, earning, making some income by the side. Fantastic. How many of us don't fall into any of this category? You're not a student and you're not working. You're not earning any income. Anyone there? Okay, so maybe you are transiting, you are in waiting, or, yeah, okay. So, why I gave you that background of having to take the decision to move into finance 7 years after graduation is because sometimes you just need to take a decision and start. The years will catch up. Tell your neighbor, the years will catch up. It's painful when I hear younger ones say things like, I'm already 27, I can't go back to school. My mates are this and that. My mates have graduated. Will I start to write JAMB at 27? Have you heard things like that before? I totally disagree. If you want something badly, you will give you what it takes. So because my focus on, making your first million, I'm focusing on making smart investment decisions. It's important that you even understand what investments are, right? It is when you understand what investments are that you are able to now then take decisions that are critical to helping you grow your value. So, just a few things to introduce us to the world of investments. Have you heard of the word income? Income, right? So what comes to mind? So we are doing this together. I need to hear your voices. What comes to mind when you hear the word income? Salary. Okay, what else? Profit. Okay. Earnings. Okay, great. So anything that comes to you, either periodically or, from a transaction that you do, from something that you do, anything that comes to you as a reward for it is an income to you. And like I said earlier, the higher your value is, the better your capacity to earn income. So income is, speaks to your earnings, and your earnings speak to the level of decisions that you can take, or the choices that you can make. Let me break that down. Your income determines the choices that you can make in life. Yes or yes? Let's make it practical. If you earn 50,000 naira a month, and someone walks in here and starts to tell you the features of a Mercedes-Benz E-Class, how it is fantastic, it works really well, don't worry, it's only just 4 million naira, because I love you guys. You guys are young, you are vibrant, and I just want to sell it for 4 million naira. As someone earning 50,000 naira, you are not likely going to be interested in that conversation. Why? I thought somebody would say shoe get size. So your income determines the choices you make. Your income, unfortunately, also determines the tables where you can sit at. So where exactly do you want to? When the Bible talks about that, have you seen a man that is diligent in his doing? He will stand before kings and not before ordinary people. What do you think that means? If you are not bringing value to the table, it's going to, you can't stand before kings. It is not a curse. It is a given. Kings don't waste their time. So, when you have increase your capacity to earn, you are able to make better choices in life. Now, beyond just making an income, there's also now then being able to make what we call passive income. Passive means something that you are not actively doing, something by the side. So passive income means that you are not physically involved, every day involved, but income is coming to you because of something you've done prior to that time. Do we understand? Can we quickly think through examples of passive income? Tell me. Just let's be practical. What comes to mind? Passive means you are not actively involved in that income. You've done something already, and then it is that thing you've done that is now creating income that is. So you may be sleeping and your bank account is getting full. Do you get? You are just walking and then you hear a beep, an alert, money has dropped, income has come in. Do you understand? So that's passive income. Active income is I have to show up at work. I work. Then after 30 days, I get a salary. Or I have a shop. I open my shop. If I don't open that shop, sell, I don't earn. That's active income. But passive, I'm not actively involved. So tell me, give me examples of passive income. Yes. Absolutely. A musician. Not just that you are singing in your bathroom, musician. No. Yeah. So you've waxed an album, you have a hit single, and then it is on YouTube. YouTube is paying you money as people are viewing, and then it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music. Then as they are downloading, when you hit a particular threshold, they pay you. That's passive income. Who wants to give me another example? Yes. Okay. Yeah, so if you have a lot of content and you are getting income from that, is that what you're saying? Oh, the owner of Facebook. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, so because he has built a system that is creating all of those. Yes, I agree. Yes. So, yes. Rental. Thank you. So the owner of this place is not here today. And it is being rented. So when you leave here at the end of the month, you send payment, right? And then that drops. If they rent this place for a party, it drops. Great. Driving, using your car for Uber, is that active income or passive income? Oh, I love you guys. You guys are learning fast. So we agree that is an active income because you are the one driving the car, right? And then, so you are actively involved. But if you now have two cars, you are driving one and then you give the other one to someone else who is now then making returns to you. What is that second one? Passive income. Clap for yourselves. Okay, so the second bit is savings. And I feel that it's important to separate savings and investment, because a lot of times we think that when we save, we are investing. But they are very different. Savings is a conscious effort to set aside. You know, you get something and then you set a portion of it aside. So you can see savings as you paying yourself first. Remember what I said about you being worthy of being invested into. So when you earn something and you decide that for as long as I earn any income that comes into my hand, I must separate 10%, 20%, whatever it is, as savings, as me paying myself. Do you get that? So, but it's not enough to set aside. When you set aside, if I set something aside and I leave here, I come back in 3 months' time, what I've set aside, I'll meet it there, right? So let me just use an example. I have seeds that I want to plant. My agric was quite poor. Give me an example of something we can plant. Corn, thank you. So you have corn that, it has to be dry, right? Before you can plant it. Okay. So you have them. Let's say you have a farmland that is as big as this room. And you have a full jar of corn seeds to be planted. Now you set it aside. You put them in this cup. And they've told you the quantity of corn that will fill this cup is enough to plant maize, and this whole land will be full, such that in I think it's about 7 months or so that corn takes to germinate. It's not up to that 7 months. How many months on average? 3 months. Fantastic. Why am I not growing corn? Okay, so you have that average, and then so you are expecting. So maybe you bought this for, I don't know, let's just say you bought it for 5,000 naira. It's full of corn seeds, right? You set it aside, and they've told you you've made your projection in 3 months' time. If all you do is set it aside and you go, and then 3 months you come back, what will you meet? Talk now. You meet it because you only did what? But if after setting aside, so setting aside is savings. Is it important that you set aside? Yes. If after setting aside, you now go around this farmland with that cup full of corn seed and you begin to drop. You begin to drop. A little here, a little there. And you go round this room. And then you go. And come back in 3 months' time. What will you have? What will you have? And it will be a farmland, right? That has grown, and you'll be preparing for. So, what is the difference between savings and investment? Thank you. Did you hear his summary? Why did you bring me here? You people have teachers here. Savings is what? Setting aside. And investment is what? Planting. So what are you doing with what you are setting aside? When you invest, you are exposing what you have saved to growth potentials. Okay, I move on. So you remember my story about how I waited, I had to transition 7 years after. It's going to bring me back to this key issue of delayed gratification. So a lot of times, because we are chasing certain things in life, and we are also under pressure to produce, we want to make it big, I want to blow, I want this, I want my first millions. How many of you want your first millions? And you want it now. You don't mind if it drops now, Abby. So, how many of you are willing to pay the price? How many of you believe that if you pay the price, it will happen? But do you know that paying the price will cost you something? So, a story. That 2006, when I was trying to transition, I went for a job interview. And then after everything, they told me, oh, yes, financial services, you don't have any experience. You don't even have a first degree, a second degree. All this, your first and second degree, is not useful to us. So we'll just pay you entry-level salary. And I walked out of the place. I was thinking, okay, this is like the second interview. It is sounding like the same thing. It looks like the best I can get is entry level. Do you understand what I mean by entry level? Yeah, so that's the lowest salary for somebody who's just starting afresh on a job, right? So, as if, I was already feeling bad. If it was you, wouldn't you feel bad? And then I stopped over at an eatery. Then Sweet Sensation used to be almost everywhere. And as I was trying to get some snacks, to save my belly from hunger pangs, I met a classmate of mine who we had finished school in 1999. And we greeted, exchanged, and then, and she asked me, so what are you doing now? I said, yeah, I'm trying to transition to get a new job. I said, oh, wow, that's interesting. And then she reached into her bag. I don't know why. It wasn't necessary. Anyway, she reached into her bag, brought out her complimentary card. She was working with a bank, and she was an assistant manager. I honestly don't know how. Because it was just like 7 years, right? And she gave me a card. Yeah, call me, and then, okay, thank you. Bye. And I was sad. I wasn't sad for her. But you know how the devil will just tell you, you see your life. Brilliant. I made a 2-1. And I make bold to say I could have made a first class if I was serious. Masters, I made a distinction. I could have proceeded for a PhD with my results. And then I worked for 3 years as executive secretary in a place. And then I suddenly woke up, 2006, I want to move to finance. And then my mates in that same finance are assistant managers. Please, counsel the me back then. What would you have counseled me to do? I left that place that day, sad. I got back home, I was sadder. And I went to bed crying. There was nothing anybody could say to console me. But I knew there was no going back. And I told myself, with the help of God, all along, I've been a believer, a Christian. So, I wasn't doing all of these things just by myself. So, I told God, and I made a solemn promise that God, when they are counting the people that matter in the financial services sector, some years down the line, I will be named among them. That was in 2006. How many years from? 17 years after. I don't even remember the rigor again. But did I go through stuff? Yes. I took the job. I started from ground zero. I started to read books. I started to write exams. I started to do all sorts. So, again, I emphasize, the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. And I'm saying this while speaking about delayed gratification, because if I wanted the comfort of, I'm already earning a salary, and it looks like where I am, there's prospect, I would never have taken that decision. Let me move on. So in the world of investment, It's important that you understand that it is what you invest that will grow. And that result that you have from that growth, when you add it to what you are investing, it adds to your growth. And then it keeps growing. A successful farmer is the one who, after harvesting his crops, sets aside some of the harvest, right? So that he can go back again to plant. And for a farmer's harvest to grow, for as long as you are reinvesting the same quantity of seed on the same size of land, you will keep harvesting the same volume. But if you want your volume to increase, what will you do? You will increase what you're investing. And that is why I feel I should refer quickly to the power of compounding. Do you have that Excel sheet there? So, January 2023, someone starts with a monthly investment of 50,000. And then that person is earning, that investment is earning 10% per annum, not per month. We're not talking of MMM here. And at the end of the day, the person gets what? What's the interest amount? That's about 416 naira. It sounds ridiculous, right? But by February, that 416 naira adds to that 50,000. And then the person is adding another 50,000, such that what you are investing is what? 100,000 plus that 416 interest, and it becomes what? 101,250. I guess that the Excel sheet is small, right? But at the end of the day, scroll down and look at December 2024 and see what a consistent 50,000 investment every month, where you are not taking out that interest that you are earning, and you leave it. So January 2023 to December 2024 is what? 2 years. At the end of the day, you have a total amount of what? 1,332,000. So I decided to share this slide so that you will know that I'm not talking about you doing a whole lot. I'm saying be disciplined enough to set aside. Be smart enough to invest what you set aside. Be prudent enough to delay gratification. Let's take that together again. Number one is what? Be disciplined enough to... I can't hear you. Be disciplined enough to set aside. Be smart enough to invest it. And then what? Be prudent enough to delay gratification. I need to be sure you heard that. Please turn to your neighbor. Say, neighbor, be disciplined enough to set aside. Be smart enough to invest it. Be prudent enough to delay gratification. Did your neighbor hear you? Okay. So we move on. What is your money rule? And when I say, so for those of us that are students, do we spend money? Okay, I wanted to be sure. Maybe it's paper that you people just exchange in schools these days. So we spend money, right? What's the source of the money that we spend as students? Parents, uncles, aunties. So I have a daughter in that category. By the time she's done greeting her uncles and aunties all around. Hello, happy new month, uncle this. Happy new month, auntie that. The next thing I'm hearing is, because we have an agreement, you know, as an African child, when uncles and aunties give you money, you have to declare to your parents. and we have an agreement, I don't take that money from her. But you have to declare, because I have to appreciate that gesture, right? So by the end, sometimes I'm just calculating, and this girl is making good money from uncles and aunties. You know, by the time I'm adding all of that up, anyway, let me stop beefing you as students. So we agree that you earn income, right? You receive income. For those of us working, you earn a salary. For those of us trading, rendering services, there's income coming to you. What is your approach to the money that comes to you? So if you see that pie chart there, the rule of thumb, when you hear rule of thumb, it's just saying, generally speaking, what is generally advised is that at least you save a minimum of 20% of whatever it is that you earn. You know, there are things that you need and there are things that you want. Do you understand the difference between a need and a want? Pizza is a need or a want? Okay, thank you. I thought somebody would say pizza is a need. So you understand what I mean? Food is a need. But serving plantain and sausages and chicken labs along with your rice is no longer a need. It has become what you want, right? So how do you apportion your money? What goes into needs? What goes into wants? And you shouldn't take care of your wants before you set aside. So the rule of thumb is that you set aside what you need first. And then you save. And then you can now take up the things that you want. Do we agree with that category? You address your needs first. So you earn an income, you take care of food. If you pay your rent, you have to separate something monthly for that. If you transport and all of that. And then you will set aside what you will save. Don't forget that thing will not just remain as a saving. We've said it will be invested, right? Then you can now begin to look at the things that you want. Okay, I have one shoe. Everybody knows that I have one shoe. Can I at least try to have a second shoe? That's when you get to the level of want. I move on quickly because of time. So I want to now drill down further. Because we've agreed that savings is setting aside. And it is not a function of how much you earn. It's a function of what? Percentage. No, did you hear that? Do you only save when you earn a lot? We are agreeing today that you save, you set aside as a function of percentage. So if you earn 50,000 and you decide to save 5,000 as something that over time you will invest, what does that come to? 10%, and that's how much? 5,000. If you earn 100,000, your own 10% is how much? 10,000 naira. So if that is your mentality, when your salary moves from 50 to 150,000, you will not say, Shebi, I save 5,000. Let me continue to save 5,000. No. You will carry that calculation, that percentage, to translate into that 150 and then set that aside, right? So what are the investment options that we have? How many of us have heard of equities, shares? Buying shares. Show me any. Okay, so let's break it down. So what I'm doing in less than an hour is something that we should do in 3 days. But I'm just going to do what I can to rush through some of these things. Buying shares is you trying to own a fraction of somebody's business. Let me just put it as simple as that. So if your friend has it can be as simple as your friend has a business and the business is growing and your friend is saying, this business, I want to expand. So I have just one shop and sales are booming. Maybe your friend makes pastries or I don't know, whatever. And your friend says, I have orders. Maybe they don't even have a shop. They sell online. I have orders. People keep demanding for this, my product. But the capital I have is limited. I need someone to invest, to join me in this business so that I can, expand on what I'm able to do and supply more so that I can make more. If you decide that, okay, my friend, what is the value of your business now? Your friend says, the value of my business is 1 million naira, just based on the capital I've invested and all of that. You say, okay, if I give you 200,000 naira to add to your business, that takes the value of that business to what? 1.2 million naira. So my 200,000 is what percentage of that business? 200,000 divided by 1,200. Thereabouts, okay. So that means you have a portion of shares in your friend's business. It's as simple as that. So take it to now a more complex level. How many of us have heard, a bank called, they are now GT Co. Guarantee Trust Bank, Zenith Bank. MTN. Dangote Cement. So all of these companies, they actually have shares of their companies available for you to buy. You understand what it means to buy shares in a company, right? That explanation I gave you about you putting money in your friend's business is exactly like that. So 2 years ago, MTN came to the market to say, we need to include more Nigerians in this business so that we're making a lot of money and we just want to expand the business, so we need to sell some shares. So MTL sold shares. And shares, to make it easy to calculate, they are sold in units. Tell someone in units. So 1 unit of MTN shares was sold at 169 naira. As at 2021. So if you had 169,000 naira saved that you are thinking of what to invest it in, you could have used that 169,000 naira to buy how many units of MTN shares? 1,000 units of MTN shares. As at today, MTN, we're in 2023. Someone please check the price of MTN shares on the market today. Should be 200, no, 3, oh, it should be about 300 and something. 232 naira. So, an MTN has paid. So, if you bought at 169 naira, you are now a shareholder in MTN. Are you following? Is it complex? So, the same thing can happen with GT Bank, Zenith Bank, and all of that. So, these companies are the companies that we say they are listed companies. They are listed on the floor of Nigerian Stock Exchange. They are listed on the exchange. So you can buy shares of these companies. Now, you need to understand that there are other types of investments that you can do. I said equities. I also reference what I call fixed income. That means you invest and then you get a certain amount as your returns every period, sometimes every 3 months, sometimes every 6 months. And then that investment has a maturity. So maybe you buy a fixed income investment that is 4 years. It means that you get your returns every 6 months, and then in 4 years' time, they give you back your capital. Okay. You can also invest in real estate. But we know that real estate investment is capital intensive, right? Because to buy a house, you need... How much do you think you need to have to buy a house or to buy a land? It depends, right? Okay. So on the average, if it's somewhere that is not very developed but has potentials, it's like how much? 250? Really? Where? Katsina. Did somebody say Katsina? Okay. No, so but there are fractional ways of doing some of these things without you necessarily having the 500,000 to buy a land now. I don't want to speak too much in technical terms, but I just need you to understand the basics. And the basics is that you need to have some level of knowledge for you to make smart investments. And what sort of knowledge do you need to have? You need to understand the risk and the returns that an investment can offer to you. So, in understanding risk and returns, you don't forget that what you are setting aside is what you want to invest, right? So, remember my example of the cup of corn seed, right? If I make the mistake of pouring that corn seed on this floor with this rug, because it is land as well, right? And then I pour it on it, and then I go. And I come back in 3 months' time. What will I find? You won't even find it again. So, you need to understand the risk of the investment that you are going into. Whether you are buying shares, whether it is what we call fixed income. How many of you have heard of bonds? Bonds. Buying bonds. Okay, write that down as something you want to check after today. After the service. I have something on it somewhere in my slides. Okay, I think it's my next slide. So I'll go to that just quickly now. But just to say that in analyzing the risk, you must understand that if you are being promised returns that are too good to be true, then it is very likely too good to be true. How do you know if a return is too good to be true? Tell me now. Some of you have... If you did MMM here, raise up your hand. Don't worry, we will not laugh at you. We'll just laugh small. If the return is too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. So I'm saying, how do you know if a return is too good to be true? Yes, how do you know? Oh, shit. That one is not just money doubling, no. That one is helicopter. You hear people say things. If you give me this, in my company, we will now then give you 10% every month. Honestly. I don't know. 10% every month is what? 120% in 1 year. Do you know what the average investment returns in Nigeria is today? The band can be as low as 10%, and the highest I've seen is 25% in a year. Investment returns. Okay, maybe in some very aggressive cases, 30% in a year. But somebody says bring 200,000, you will earn 10% every month. So it means that at the end of that year, they will give you 120%. So you'll be going away with 400 and something thousand naira. There's fire on the... And what should you do? Okay. So you also need to... I'm not saying you shouldn't take risk, but it's important that you know that when the returns are too high, then the level of risk is also very high. So in finance, there's something we say, we relate it to risk and returns. The higher the risk, the higher the returns. So you can flip it to say, the higher the returns, because most times it's the returns they will tell you first. So the higher the returns, the higher the risk. But to take risk generally, you need to understand that there are things to consider. You have to consider your age. So do you agree that the level of risk that someone who is maybe 25, no family, you just started a job, you are earning 200,000, 100,000, whatever in a month, the level of risk that person can take is different from a 50-year-old or a 45-year-old who is earning that same amount but has a family, is paying rent, will pay school fees. Do you understand what I'm saying? So age is a key consideration in taking risk. Tell your neighbor age. The second key consideration in taking risk is your income level. The level of income that you have, the level of money that you have. If all you have been able to set aside, as savings is $1 million naira. So go back, that my Excel sheet that had 50,000 2023 January. Imagine that you are now in December 2024 and you have that 1.3 million. That's a good achievement, right? And then somebody comes to you to say, okay, so there's this business that I think we can partner together to do. And then they tell you all of the things. And they say the total business will cost like 2 million naira. So each of us will just drop 1 million, two of us, and then we'll be able to do this business. Now, everything you have gathered, saved, sweated to put together is how much? 1.3 million. And then you now see this business that is asking you to bring 1 million to invest. Is there wisdom in taking 1 million to invest in that? What do you think? Why? Because that 1 million out of the 1.3 is like what percentage? That's like 70% or 80%. But if what you set aside is, say, 10 million naira, and then you want to put in 1 million, the 1 million you are putting in is just 10% of your 10 million. So you see what I mean when I say you can be in the same situation with someone, but your capacity to take risk is different. Just the same way I gave the example of you earn the same amount, but someone's age and the level they are in life, the obligations and the responsibilities they have, cannot allow them to take the kind of risk that you will take. So as younger people here, I don't know how many people are married here. If you are married and you have children, you guys are the luckiest set of people on earth. Do you know why I said that? What obligations do you have? I know. They will tell me, I have a lot. Tell me, what are your obligations? Parents, yes. Sisters. What happened to brothers? They should go and hustle. What else? Girlfriend. Yeah, no, da. Very good. What else? Your own now. Is it not your own school fees? Abi, are you a baby daddy? Ni? Eh? What? House rent. Where do you live? Like no, what I'm trying to say is that what's the percentage of rent? That's why I wanted a flip chart. I wanted us to do a breakdown. Okay. Do I have marker there? Let's break it down. So give me, I don't want to speak above, just give me a salary. You push not down my shine. Why are you giving me 50,000? How will I break that down? Okay, no problem. Let's agree, 50K. 50K, we agree. Who wants us to take it lower or higher? Higher. 300K. Okay, in a year, that's how much? You know, we talked about your needs, right? And then you have your wants. Okay, so what should I put here as need? Food. Food, transport. You either choose transport or fuel now. Which one? You want to do both? What else? Transport, uncle. I say you choose either fuel or transport now. What are you subscribing to? Do you know that we'll put that under want now? Your Netflix subscription, is it a need or a want? Isn't that somebody who has finished surviving that will... Rent. Okay, medication. Who said medication? Okay, medication. So that one, after the service, CPM, he has to lay hands on you. You must be well. There's no room for spending money anyhow. Okay, let's just say others. Food, transport, rent, others. Let's save time. Once. Start confessing. Wait, no. Your monthly spending. You don't buy phone every day. Data. Okay, what else? How should we categorize that? No, let's put it as soft life. What else? What else? Car. Gas. We'll just accommodate it here because you're either cooking the food or you're buying it. Netflix. The honest truth, The honest truth. If you like, don't invite me after now. If you are earning 50,000 naira a month, what do you need a girlfriend for? No. Let's talk. Tell me. We've done this now. You yourself, alone, have you finished surviving? Now, if you earn 50,000 and you believe you need a girlfriend, I agree with you. What you have to just do is to go and double your hustle. So, this 50,000, that's if you were to dedicate 10% to girlfriend sustenance, for example, that's 5,000 a month. In a year, that's 60K. That 60K, put it together, find a course on Coursera or on Udemy, or find a training. Attend, what's this one that we do in Idimo? Entrepreneurship Academy. It's 15,000 naira. Are you aware of it? It's going to hold again in September. It's for 1 week, right? 15K. You will learn how to start a business. You will learn customers. You will learn all sorts of things, how to run a business. You will meet people. You will network. All of that. Invest that in yourself so that this 50,000 naira can become 100,000 naira, 150, 200. When it now becomes that, then you can have girlfriend sustenance allowance. Do you agree or you disagree? No. Who said multiple girlfriend? I bind that. So, but what am I just trying to say? Guys, listen to me. There are no two ways about this thing. You first start from here. You know this is where you are. You start from here, right? You take care of your needs. By the time you are done doing this, food, transport, rent. Let's use numbers. Out of this 50K, let's say conservatively, you do more of cooking your food at home. You don't eat out. So on the average, you spend like how much on food? In a month, let's say 15K. What are you people eating? Is it not? No, but the truth is, again, if you earn 50,000 naira, you have no business eating turkey and chicken. And don't tell me that you need protein. You need protein, but is that the only source of protein? And see, it is just for a while. What did I tell you at the beginning? The years will catch up. There was a time I couldn't cook turkey. There was a time, oh Lord. There was a time, his bike. There was a time my 10-month-old daughter had an accident in the house. Her head tore. Blood was gushing out. No car, nothing. My husband carried her on Okada. I took the second Okada from Ejigbo Road to Crystal Hospital around here. Our saving grace was that we had HMO, that health insurance, because all the money combined that we had was not up to 1,000 naira. There was a time like that, but I'm not there anymore. What am I saying? Sometimes you need to just sit down and tell yourself the truth. A lot of times we are too busy following other people. Follow. You are changing clothes, you are changing things. I'm not saying don't live the good life. I'm saying understand where you are. Face your reality. Determine what is actually a need and separate what your wants from it. You'll see that you'll be easily contented in life. If you chase less of, but most importantly, be determined not to remain on this level. And what do you do not to remain on this level? Invest in yourself. Set aside, because it is this savings that you set aside. So if you do 15K transport, the honest truth is, if your transport fare is costing you more than 20% of your salary, you've not found a job.
Can you say that again? How many percent?
20%. So you are earning 50K and you are spending 20K on tea fare. That's 40%, right? You don't have a job. Just know that you are on internship in that place. And make sure that you are learning something from that place. Do you get what I'm saying? Not that it's the kind of job that 6 months, 1 year after, we don't know what it has added to you. You are just going there, you open shop, you are helping them to dust a provision from the wall. Dust. Then you sit, you wait for customer. You do that Monday to Friday, you do that, and then for 1 whole year, you have nothing to show. You've not started. You are not ready. If you spend more than 20% of your income on transport, it is faulty. I'm not saying resign from that job. I'm saying just understand what your situation is and know that, there's problem. And I have to find a solution. In increasing, so again, where do you live? So if you earn 50K, your annual income is 600,000. What is tell me, what's your average rent? Yeah, per annum. Because in Nigeria, we pay per annum, right? Sad. 60. Is that an average? Can we accept that? Oh yeah, tell me, what's your rent? 120K in a year. Okay. So that's how much in a month? That's 10K in a month, right? So let's assume that this is 15, 10, 10, that's 20, 35. So let's say, we said at least 10% of what you earn, try to save it. So that's 5K, Abi. Then others, maybe another 5K. I don't know what that is. If this is your situation, 15 plus 20, 30, 40, 45, go and find out how you break 5,000 down. But what is this trying to tell us? This is just saying that if you are in this situation, you have 2 options that you'll be juggling part-time. One option is what? Reduce costs. And the second option is what? Increase income. So, if you are earning 50K and in 2 weeks, let's say you want to change that story in 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months' time, what are the immediate things you can do? We'll discuss immediate things around reducing cost and increasing income. I have like a few things here, but I want to hear from you. What are the things you can do quickly? My time is up, but again, we have to take out something from this session, right? In 1 month, 2 months' time, you want this situation to change. Now, I'm not saying you want it to become 500,000. There's what we call short, medium, and long-term goals. So short term, you want it to at least change a bit. Let me make a bit extra. Because if you make extra, you should bring it here first. But some of us, the moment you make extra, it is soft life you are plugging it into. Okay, we'll come back there. Okay, so quickly tell me, in short term, what can you do to reduce costs? What can you do to increase income? No, break it down. I don't want general things. Yes, tell me. Which is, what do you do as a side hustle? Okay, so that weekend that you said you can do delivery. Do you have a bike or what? How does that work? Companies, okay. So how do you do the deliveries? You go, they give you the bike and the what? Okay. And then you make extra income. Fantastic. What else? So you said something else again. There was something else you said. Sharing and bills. You pay, you paint. Are you alone? Were you the one that mentioned the girlfriend sustainers allowance? Okay, but that's fantastic. So you can see that with some of the things he has said, the situation is looking brighter. It's not looking as gloomy. Okay, what else can you do? Freelance writing. Okay. Who will buy it? Okay. I see. Okay. Okay, fantastic. What else? Coding. Oshe. Tell me, what are the sort of things you can do? You know, we have said 1-2 months. So that means you already know how to code. Otherwise, we'll put coding in medium to long term because you have to learn it. So we'll put that in medium to long term. But I agree, you can learn that medium, long term, and then that can help to increase. I know a guy who finished from the uni, and he has not even served. He was learning programming while in the uni, and he got a job, and he's in the UK now. He has not served. So some of these things are possible. Okay, what else? How can you reduce costs? Thank you. Trek small. Don't catch also. You can fast. Some of us, we even eat too much. Eat once a day. Maybe start your day with eba. It's factory work. Exactly. So you start your day with eba now. So, can't you eat eba before you leave the house? You sleep in the factory. No, you won't sleep. Your rent. You live in what? Maybe a room, right? Look for roommates. And then this becomes 5K. Suddenly you split this goes down. Hallelujah. So, what am I just saying? Sometimes you just need to pick pen and paper and write and break these things down. If you are determined, you can make it work. The unforgivable thing is saying, this money is too small, I can't save. Know how. You must save from whatever you earn. Because that investment in yourself will come if you see a course that is maybe a coding program or whatever it is that is going to improve your value 1 year from now. And they say the cost of that course is 100,000. Even if you want to walk up to someone to help you, you go up to the person to say, I saw this course, this is my interest, this and that. I have 50,000 already. Please, I need some support if I can. You are different from just strolling to the person, I actually have some ideas. So this course is 100,000 naira. Okay. How much do you have? I'm trusting God. How? So, it's important that you set money aside, save, and then look for opportunities to invest. In investing, you don't want to just put it in your bank account to say, okay, this is my savings. So, That's why I know we are out of time, but I'll quickly refer to I think it should be is it the last slide now? So you can keep what you are saving. I'm going to jump. So the slide that has the money market and the mutual fund. You can actually just buy what we call mutual funds. And a number of licensed asset management companies have mutual funds that you can buy for as little as 5,000 naira. And then you can just consistently. So the discipline that 5,000 is not staying in a bank account that you have an ATM that you can go and withdraw. It helps you. There are so many apps, so many platforms. I don't want to be specific in terms of apps that we're recommending, but again, you've been taught. Do your due diligence. Check to be sure that you are working with the right set of people. For some of us, our future obligations are in dollars. Maybe you have dreams. You want to go for your master's at some point. You want to do this, you want to do that. 2-3 years time. You set 5,000, 10,000 aside every month. Over time, it becomes something. And then you begin to think of, okay, I need to now then convert this money. There are mutual funds that allow you to save $1,000 minimum to start with. And then you can top it up with a minimum of $100. And then it begins to grow. And then you know that you have something. So tomorrow, when you are walking up to someone to say, I have applied to this school, I have this admission, I have saved. By the time you are telling this person that my school fees is 6,000 Canadian dollars, I have saved 4,000, they will listen to you. But you see, what happens a lot of time is that we would rather that we are anointed and poured oil on. And then this week, favor will work for you. This week. And then you just want to, you have not asked yourself, this favor that will work for me, how will it work? If you are inside your house watching Netflix, how favor won't catch you? Do you get? I just thought of something now. You said Tade Cash was here last week, right? And you said he had books to sell. How much was a copy of the book? 2,000 naira. If you don't have a job or you want to increase your side, how many people walked up to Tade Cash to say, sir, if I sell copies of this book, how much can I earn as commission? How many people had that conversation? Maybe you will get I don't know, even if it's 10% commission. Maybe. And then that data that is a cost to you. You buy that data, you go on your Twitter or Instagram page, you post 1 or 2 clips from that Tade Cash meeting, something punchy. You now post this, let's assume you are on Instagram. You now post a picture of the book and say, today was explosive. You shared 1, 2, 3 things. And you say he had this book to sell. To pick your copy, call me on. And then you sell 10 copies, 20 copies, 50 copies. Sometimes we think making money is rocket science. It's not. Okay, I've gone in several directions today. But my last slide is this. I have a few key takeaways. And if you don't remember anything, you should just remember the few things on this slide. And the number 1 is that your choice of investment should be driven by your level of risk appetite and your investment objective. What do I mean by that? What do you want to achieve? And how much risk are you willing and able to take? The second thing is be a wealth-building hustler. Just now, we did a small exercise of other things you can do to increase your income. What are the things you can do to reduce your expenses? What are the things you can do to ensure that you are consistently setting aside so that you can invest and it can grow? Avoid a self-defeating mindset. Someone else can say, I earn 50K, there's nothing for me, I beg. This 50K, I can barely survive. And then You're just there. Month after month after month. But someone else will earn that same 50K and say, what are the things I can do in this situation? How can I change my situation? How can I increase my capacity to earn more? How can I ensure that 3-4 years from now, when I'm telling my story, I can say, back in the day when I was earning 50K. Again, I say delay gratification through savings and investment is a key thing to do. Delay gratification. Turn to your neighbor. I need to be sure your neighbor heard that. Delay gratification. Invest in learning, unlearning, and relearning. Don't stay ignorant. The moment you find that you are ignorant, don't remain there. Learn more. Increase your understanding, because that's what is going to increase your capacity. Passive income investment has the potential to generate consistent returns with minimal effort. The example of the book that you could sell, if you post it on your Instagram and people place their orders and you deliver and you make your commission, that's some sort of passive income. The good thing is, when there's a will, there's a way. And know this, that you are not ordinary. The Bible says that there's a spirit in man, right? And the inspiration of the Almighty does what? Gives him understanding. You are not ordinary. So for every idea, for every desire of your heart, you are placing it before God. You are asking him for ideas. You are asking him for wisdom, strength to execute. Because your story has to change. It has to change. And I just want to leave you with this final charge. What were those 3 things that we said earlier? I want us to take it together. About discipline. Are we together? 1, 2, go. Be disciplined to set aside. Be smart enough to invest it. And be prudent enough to delay gratification. Thank you.